This time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm going to show you how to install Speedway's disc brake kit on a dropped axle on an early Ford hot rod. Okay, this is Speedway's 11-inch rotor disc brake kit. It's for 37 to 48 Ford front spindles, and it uses a metric A-body GM caliper with a 11-inch rotor. It's got a 5 on 4.5 inch bolt pattern. You can also get this kit in a 5 on 4 3/4 inch bolt pattern for GM applications. I'm running Ford wheels on my Model A hot rod truck I'm working on here. So I've got this side installed. Let me blow it apart and we'll go through step by step the things you got to do to put it together. Alright, so I've got my steering arms here. I'm ready to install the spindle adapter, which is going to go on here. And the trick to these is, it says to heat these up in an oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes and then they'll slide right on. I've made a little adapter here so I can tap these down if they don't just slide on. But I think the way to do this is, I got this toaster oven for free from a guy at work. I'm going to set her to 400. I'm going to put these in here for 20 minutes and heat them up. And then I'm going to put my fixture in the vise that I use to drop the steering arms and hold the steering arm like this and tap this down here onto the spindle itself so we can put the new rotors on here. So let me turn on the oven, I'll get this thing heated up and I'll get these guys hot and we'll press them onto these steering arms. Okay, I had these in here for 20 minutes. I got a couple more minutes on the timer, but I went over 20 just to keep them hot. So I'm going to go ahead and I got the spindle out of here. I'm going to go reach in and grab one and we'll try it out. Grabbing the 400 degree bushing. I didn't quite slide down, but I've got this handy little adapter pipe. Oh, look at that. Bam! Right on there. It's done! Nice. Oh. It's on there. Nice. So there you go, bam, it's just that easy. A little magic of science. Use the heat to expand up the adapter while the cold spindle is shrunk down and everything fits together. When this thing cools down, it'll reconstrict and be locked on the spindle just where it needs to be. So I'll just let this guy cool here. I'll let the other one cool. I'm going to unplug my oven, make sure that doesn't catch on fire because that'd be bad. All right, here's the 11-inch Speedway rotor for this kit. It's got a 5 on 4.5 inch bolt pattern, which is a Ford Mopar bolt pattern. That's the wheels I'm running on this. And this is a brand new rotor, but the instructions say to pound this inner bearing race out and put this different race in. So I'm over here on the bench. So I got the rotor over here on the bench. I got a chisel, got the new race. I'm just going to go in here. I think I can just tap on it and drive her out. Let's see what happens. Let's work it. Work it. There we go. Bam. So there's the old bearing race. Set that aside, not get it confused. Now I'm going to flip this up this way. I'm going to bring this steel circle over so I can bash on this and not bash on my stainless steel top on my bench. Bash on that. Just like that. So open up the new race. Don't know what the difference is between the two, but it's got to be something. So I'm going to place the new race down in here. The concave side faces out because the bearing faces out. Use this old race to drive this new one in. Can you see what I'm doing? Not really. But I'm just going to use this old race as a tapper and just tap this new one in all the way around. Might take a couple minutes to do it. Actually, you know what? If I had a little plate, I could sit right in the center of that and then I would hit it level. Here's what I'll do. I'll use this to set the rotor on. And I'll use my circle to tap on. Yes. sure that's lined up. It's going. Now the race has to get down below the surface here. So in order to do that, I've got a piece of brass. And I can tap on the edge of the race with the brass and it won't hurt the race. So, just got to drive her in the rest of the way. I think that's about it. Yep, it's down there. We got a new bearing race installed in the back of this rotor. Well, I got this rotor up here. Let's get out the rear bearing. We'll pack the rear bearing in grease. That goes in here. Then there's a grease seal that needs to be tapped into the back of this rotor. I'll do that too while I'm right here. So let me get that stuff out, and we'll do that. I got my bearing greased up nice. I'm going to go ahead and put a little extra grease into the action here, just to give her some for the get-go. Trap that guy down in there like that. See it here. I'm just going to spooge a little around in there on my finger. That's what she said. Get it greased up nice. Step is take the wheel seal and put it in here so it goes like this. The rubber side faces out. And I've got this jobber here is a seal driver. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a go right in the center and see if I can drive it down in there. There we go, that looks pretty good. Seal driven down there flush. On the outside I had to give it a couple hammer taps here and there just to get her lined up. Over here I still got the spindle mounted up with the new race on it. So let's go ahead and we'll set this on. Look at that. Bam! So there you go, there's your rotor installed on the spindle. So there we go, you can see how that works. Works nice. Just got to grease up the outer bearing. That'll go on here with a spacer, then the nut. But we'll go ahead and we'll put the steering arms on the front axle first, and then we'll assemble this onto the axle with the backing plate bracket and all that, or the caliper bracket and all that. And we'll give her a go and see how it looks. So the next thing we're going to do, install the disc brake brackets, or the caliper brackets I should say. And I painted these. I've gone and put a little bit of fluid film just on the surface here of the spindle, just because it could get moisture in there and rust maybe. So just simply slide this up here. Remember that the offset in these goes towards the inside of the vehicle, and they're also marked when you get them in bare. They're marked left and right. I actually stamped these with a steel die before I painted them, so I've got an R stamped in this one. And then get out your 1/2-inch Allen head cap screws, fine thread, and they go in like this. These cap screws are fine thread, and they come with some nylock nuts. So go through like so. Now on the back side here, you take the nylock nuts here. These get torqued, I think, between 38 and 57 foot-pounds. I'll go ahead and I'll torque these down, and then we can slide the rotor onto here next. Can you see me? Here we go. I'm just going to slide this right up on here. Whoop. Get the inner bearing in there. Here's the outer bearing. I've already packed these bearings of grease. I'm just fitting this for now. Because I'm going to take this back off. I'm going to paint the rotors here where the wheels go. But here's the rotor. It's that easy. Let me get the shim. There's a shim spacer here, and then the nut and the washer. I'll bolt this on. Kit comes with a spacer here, space this out. And then there's a washer with a keeper here that goes in this little keyway slot. And then they give you a new castle nut. Get on there. New castle nut here. For now, I'm going to use the old castle nut because it threads on here easier. Bam, look at that. And you just take it and you tighten up your nut, just so there's no play in the bearings. But it's simply that easy. The rotor is installed right here. That looks good. And next step is bolt on the caliper and the pads, and then hook the brake hose, which is over here, back up to the caliper. See from the back side here. Exactly straightforward, just like putting regular rotors on any modern car. It's pretty much straightforward, real easy. And it uses the A-body GM calipers, which are super simple with a 2-pin application. So I'll get a caliper, bolt that on, and then we'll see how the pads go. And I'm going to take this back apart and paint up this rotor here. But right now you can see it's going on pretty good. All right, here's our caliper here. See, it's got an R on it here marking right hand for passenger side. It says Speedway on here. So this is their copy of a GM A-body caliper. Got our pads here. They come in a pair. This is the outer pad here. I'm sorry. This is the inner pad here that goes on the piston side. And there's a little sheet metal tab, spring-loaded clip. It's like a little spider monkey that goes on here. But I don't understand. I don't think this is bent enough here, the end of this clip, because it's got to go right in this hole here to lock this in. So what I determined I have to do is take my pliers and bend this over just a little bit to get it to make like a V and get her stuck in the hole. So I'm just going to tweak this just a little bit like this, bend her over, squeeze it just a little bit. Oh, like that. Like that. This will clip up here on the bottom of there, and then that should go in there like that. Bam. This is the inside pad that goes like this, and that sheet metal tab locks it into the piston. Get in there. Bam, like that, installed. And then the outer pad is clipped like this, and it goes around like this. It goes and clips on. Bam, like that. So your pads are installed in the caliper, ready to rock and roll. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I got a little bit of disc brake grease here, and I'm just going to put a little dab on these pads where the caliper floats. Just get a little grease on there. And also, our crash shaft pins, these heads go into a rubber O-ring, and also out here there's rubber, so I'm just going to put a little dab of grease on these here just to lube them up just a little bit. Alright, so we bring in our caliper here, and it simply slides right in here just like that, right over the rotor. It's just that easy. Take the upper pin, the lower pin installed here. I get to watching and cranking these pins, and there's rubber O-rings that seat in this caliper. You just got to make sure you don't push the rubber out with a pin, get it started nice and straight. If your rubber pushes out like this one's attempting to do right here, just back it out. You can hold it with this little screwdriver. Oh, there it goes again. It's trying to push it. Get in there. There we go. You want to snug those up, but that installs your caliper here. The caliper slides back and forth on these pins. You can see they're sticking out here. And if I push it back out, well, so when the piston pushes in, it pushes the piston into the rotor, which pulls the caliper this way and sucks pressure on here. But pretty much it. It's just that easy. And the last thing to do is hook up your brake hose here. It simply bolts onto the bottom of the caliper, and then you've got your bleeder got your bleeder up top here. You go ahead and bleed the brakes just like normally, but it's pretty much that easy to install this disc brake kit. It goes right on here. Real functional, real simple, real nice. So it's pretty much that straightforward to put this disc brake kit together. It doesn't take much time at all. A couple hours in your garage, get everything all painted up nice and put together. And these are good brakes. These are good cheap calipers to replace. So you can either use stock GM calipers or get the Speedway calipers to replace it. The pads are readily available for 77 to 88 A-body GM cars like Monte Carlo, Grand Prix, stuff like that. And got the big rotors here, so the thing ought to stop good. And I've got good brakes now on the front of this early Ford Model A pickup. So there you go. You can put these together on your hot rod and have great brakes for a good price. This is $300 for this whole kit out the door, $299.99. This is a good kit, so you can do this too on your early Ford hot rod. Go out to Speedway Motors. I'll put a link in the description below of the part number of all the kit. But it's a nice easy kit to put on, real easy and simple. So just want to show you how it's done. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for the alerts. Tell your friends. And as always, we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop for early Ford hot rod tricks, parts installations, building hot rods, rusty junk, whatever else I got going on here at the Quick Speed Shop.